If it is not an index, what do you call it? When you see it, what do you call it? Table of contents. Any other name? Glossaries. Right? Yeah, whatever the name is, this is I would say a great tool for you to use in the exam. Okay. How do we use this basically when you are doing an exam? I know students, especially ladies, girls, you guys love to do your tagging there. There you go. Tagging your notes and your book. This is something like tagging. But imagine if you are to tag 1,000 keywords. Okay, so it won't be that feasible for you to tag physically. Even if you do, when you are in the exam, it may not be, it will be time consuming for you to go and trace which one is that. Okay, so ideally, so how does this work? It is assumed that before you go and sit for the exam, especially for both internal and external, you should print this list, okay, and sort it. Before you print, make sure you sort it alphabetically. Okay, and when I say, if you see on this first column, it contains keywords. And keyword doesn't mean only one word. It could be a sentence. It could be a number of words. Like for example, accounting for sustainability, or it could be just one word, accountants. But look at it. This is just A, beginning of A. Remember, imagine from A to Z, you may have say even more than 1,000 keywords. So how do you use it? So for example, in the exam, you are reading a question, right? And of course, every time you read a question, you are looking for a keyword. You really want to know, this question is asking you about what topic. Okay, let's say this topic is about audit committee. Okay, after reading once or twice, I know that this question is asking me about audit committee. So you go and refer to your list here. Audit committee, page number of your module. So you go and turn your page. Turn your module. Can you feel? Can you sense that? Okay. How are we going to have this? Am I going to give you this and you use? I want you to generate your own list starting today. And that is the reason why I asked you to bring your laptop or tablet. Okay. So maybe if we can start now. For those who are having tablet or laptop, open up Microsoft Excel and get a blank template like this with these columns. Okay, let me guide you how to generate one. Okay, you can use Excel or Google Sheet. And make sure you bring the same Excel file or the same Google Sheet. A Google Sheet is fine because it is automatically saved in the cloud. So make sure you bring the same worksheet from one class to another. Okay. The layout, the format of your index, it is really up to you. How many columns that you want? But my suggestion, at least one for the keyword itself, definitely the most important one. The page number, okay, and maybe if you want to add one more, okay, I think this one was prepared by one of my past students, so he or she used this format. Okay, but for me, my least suggestion is the first column keywords, second column page number of your module. Maybe the third column, slide number. When you see my slides, there are numbers. So let's say you know that audit committee is in this slide. Okay, how do you know this? How do you code? How do you put a code of your slide? Okay, this is just this is my way of coding my slide. Firstly we go by module. Okay, we have 5 modules. So let's say you are referring to module 1. Okay, if you see my shared folder, okay, let's say for example module 1, right? Okay, actually this is my module 1. Okay, let's say we take one of this. Okay, let's say I want to tag this slide number 47. So my label would go like this: M1 PA S47. M1 means module 1. PA because we are in part A. S47 means slide 47. You can use your own kind of coding, okay, if you want. But this is what
M1.
I did.
M1.
Anyone see confused? M1 means module 1. Because you know what, when you are having this, let's say we have M1 PPA S47, you know already the slides that you are referring to. Okay? But I think the most that you're going to use is the module page. Definitely, that one is no doubt very important. Okay? So you can start typing the first keyword when you see my first slide later. We haven't started yet, so just get your template ready. Okay? Any question? And I would really want to see everyone should produce your own version of index. I know you might be seeing later at the end of the semester, you might be seeing your friend's index is much powerful. You can just share. You can even print 2 to 3 different sets prepared by different people and bring it to the exam. Because you know, sometimes we think that if we think and we assume that our index is powerful enough, okay, sometimes may not be 100% perfect. There might be some keywords that are missing. So perhaps if you have at least 2, one is from your own one and the other one is maybe you share with your friend and print. And make sure before you print, you sort it alphabetically. Because you see, looking at this first page, even look at that. Several modules are available. Okay? Any question for index? So when I say index, this is the one. Okay? But you still continue doing tagging, normal tagging as you wish. So this will somehow supplement and complement, okay, each other. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, before I explain the term ethics and governance, so in general, let me share with you some fun figure facts about CPA-EG. We are currently using 3rd edition. Please don't use any earlier than 3rd edition. 3rd edition, right? Okay, right? Right, contains 413 pages. Not 15, not 10, 15 weeks. Okay, 15 weeks. $45 hours. 15 weeks, 45 hours, 180 minutes of your exam time. It is actually 195, 15 minutes reading time. But you are only allowed to attempt 3 hours, sorry. 15 minutes just for the reading. But I think that is only good for you because, you know, at least you can draft your answers. You can somehow, you know, get yourself prepared and ready before you actually start answering that question. Okay? 540 passing. Okay, this is very important. In CPA, they use this mechanism to show the passing mark of the paper, and this applies to all CPA papers. 540 upon 900 marks. How many percent is that? 60%. Okay, higher, right, slightly higher than your normal paper. Usually 50 or 40 you can actually pass, but for CPA Australia you have to pass at 60%. Okay, and in CPA Australia, if you got 538, that's it. There is no such thing as grace mark, for you to get yourself passed. No, when you are given 538 means that's it. And my recommendation is for you to aim beyond pass. So meaning, don't target to get 540, but at least 500 or 550. Alright, and definitely no limit of self-notes. As long as you print them out and bring it to the exam, you can bring a luggage to the exam. Okay, and talking about exam, okay, in total in EG, okay, different exam may stipulate different kind of requirement, but this is for EG. In total, you would have 75 marks with two parts, MCQ and AC. ERQ is extended response question or structured, or AC, I would say AC. Okay. So 63, if you see MCQ, it carries, every question carries one very important, very valuable mark. One question carries 1 mark. Okay, on top of that, you will add on with 12 marks of your structured question. Usually in that structured question, you would be given a small or simple case study, and you have to answer some questions based on that given case study. Okay, and for me to share with you that for this part, the most important thing, not only that, other than your knowledge and experience, learning and understanding all the concepts in EG, most importantly or equally important, your writing skills. Writing skills. Okay? They don't expect you to have a bombastic English writing skill, but and fair enough to have a common, understandable English. Okay? For some reasons, students, couldn't get, fail, not really because of he or she couldn't understand the subject well, but maybe due to the fact that he or she, wasn't that good in writing. He or she may have scored well in the MCQs, but even I think, generally, if you are so-called weak in writing, you might also be weak in comprehension. Okay, but hopefully not. At least you are okay with the comprehension skill. Comprehension means you can understand the question well, so that you can get good marks for the MCQ. But if you can't write well, at least all the things that you answered in the MCQ will help you to pass. Okay, tell me, if let's say if the student didn't get any mark for ERQ, can he or she still pass? If yes, how many questions must be correct for you to pass? Now I'm teaching you mathematics. Upon 75, and you have to pass 540, and you said 540 is 60%. So the question here is, okay, how many MCQs should I get them correct in order for me to pass? 32. 32 out of 75. 45. Okay, yes, the answer is 45. Can you imagine if your ERQ is 0, but you manage to get 45 MCQs correct, you can pass. But the challenge is, can I get 45 questions correct?
No. Hard.
Yes.
No. Not sure.
Okay, I'm not here to scare you, but you have to be scared starting from now. But definitely, of course, unless if you did nothing at all, 0. But if you wrote something, at least 2 to 3 marks, at least. But of course, you have to get more. The more, the better, right? But if you wrote something, provided what you wrote is something relevant, out of 12, maybe you may get 3, right? At least, or 5. So let's say just now, if you couldn't get 45 MCQs correct, if you got 40, your ERQ can support you to pass. But again, can I reach 45? Can. Okay, this is EG. I know everyone has your very own first time experience, but this would determine your mood and motivation to take the subsequent paper later. And that is also the reason why EG is offered as the first paper. Okay, imagine if your first paper is FR. No one is there taking CPA Australia. So that must be a reason why EG is your first subject. Okay, because if you know and understand ethics and governance, in most cases, most of the items that you learn in the class are basically the items or the things that you apply in your daily life. How to be an ethical employee, how to serve good to the society, how to contribute to the environment, and make it done in the exam. Okay, answer it and apply it in your exam. Okay? You want to score 45 or more than 45? You want to aim 45 or more than 45?
More than 45.
Aim 50. But the question is, can you get 50?
Can.
Okay? Right. Any questions for this format? Okay, now another calculation. You have 63 questions, 63 MCQs with a few, let's say you have 5 questions, 5 small questions. So we have altogether 68 to 70 questions to be answered. And you are given 180 minutes. So roughly, how many minutes each question? This is just don't worry, this is not a rigid timing for you to follow. I just want to let you know, even though you have perfectly prepared everything before the exam, but if you forget that your time management is also important during the exam, there's no one to help you other than yourself. Okay, I want to remind you and also to remind myself to remind you again later. Please consider the timing as well. How many minutes per question roughly? 2.6. Less than 3 minutes. One reading, 30 seconds. 1 minute. Thinking, flipping pages, and then choosing. Wow, 2.5 minutes. Yes, and there's no one going to sit beside you. Hey, 3 minutes, just 3 minutes. You are not even. I don't know whether I think for your information, if you are to sit your exam in the exam center, you definitely not in Unirazak. They are usually very strict, Of course, no handphone, no gadget will be allowed. Maybe smartwatch also may not be allowed as well. So, but at least on your computer there is a clock for you to refer to. But the challenge is, how do you know whether you actually spent 3 minutes more or 3 minutes less? So be alert on that. Okay. All right. Okay, this is the index I shared with you already. At least this is okay. From time to time, there will be more and more materials that I'm going to share with you. If you see in my folder, my shared folder, can you see part A, part B, and there is one more, right? Knowledge check. Have you opened it?
Yes.
What do you find inside it? Questions, right?
Yep.
Okay, what you can actually add in your index, if you found that that question, let's say in that file, the first question, that is about audit committee. So you can put KC1. You can put a note here, so that during the exam, when you refer to that item, there is actually a question about this that I have answered before. So can you see more and more materials that you can refer to? Okay, and don't worry. CPA Australia is offering you with lots of questions for you to try. Not only that from me, definitely I'll be giving you 3 sets, exam 1, exam 2 and final exam. You can use all of these questions for you to sit for your external exam later. But on top of that, in CPA website, you should try all questions available. Okay, CPA Australia is giving for the fee that you pay, you are entitled to access knowledge equity. Ever about this knowledge equity? Ever seen this knowledge equity before? Right? In that knowledge equity, of course we can't access it yet because the system is not yet open. But later, when the system is ready, inside knowledge equity, you can have videos. You can watch videos. You can answer quizzes. Okay, and you can also have some additional notes. So there is no reason that you can't understand. Of course, for many reasons you still can't understand even though you have read everything. Okay, there is always a room for you to read more and more material so that it could possibly enhance your understanding. Because in ethics, the more questions that you try, the higher the level of your understanding. Okay, especially when you are to apply how to solve an ethical dilemma. Okay, maybe by reading the case for the very first time, you might be getting yourself lost. How do I answer this? Which theory should I apply? But after reading more and more cases, you can sense, I know for the very first thing that I should refer to is, this module or this topic. And then after that, I can apply to the question. Okay, right. This is one, knowledge equity. It will be made available once you have registered yourself. Okay, how do you know that you are actually be able to access this? I'm sure once you receive the textbook, you know what? You should feel yourself proud when you are receiving an item fresh from Australia. Usually we order from China, right? Now this one from Australia. Your textbook. Okay? It's freshly delivered from Australia. So I think I should expect that somewhere earliest in July. Okay? And once you have received your hard copy of your module, I shall assume during that time as well the system is open for you to access. Okay, so let me just go back to this slide. Okay, so now, welcome. We need a break? We will have a break at 3:30, is that okay? Alright. So welcome to ethics and governance. The combination of these two keywords, ethics and governance. Tell me, what do you know about ethics?
Moral values.
Moral values. How do you see ethics? How do you understand ethics? Right or wrong? Do's and don'ts. Right? Some reasons, for some reasons, sometimes the thing that you do, that you assume it is right, may not be necessarily be the same when others are seeing it. You get what I mean? When you think that you are doing something right, it is wrong by someone else. Example? Okay, maybe we can't really think of any example because in most cases, if not all, most of us are sharing the same culture. Okay, imagine if you go and visit, or if you go and study overseas, you may then somehow assimilate. Okay, may I know how many international students here? One. Okay. Okay. Is there anything that you want to share with us about what do you think that you do, or what do you see that someone here doing something that they assume correct, but for you something which is not really so. Okay, I know where you're from.
I'm from Pakistan.
Pakistan. Okay. Only the one and only from international student here. Anyone else? Okay. Right. Anything?
Nothing's coming to mind.
Okay, not yet. Okay, but yeah, that should be fine. Okay. Let me just share with you this. Okay, again, this is just my kind of sharing. It could be perceived differently by different people. Do you know where Jalan Silang is? Jalan Silang? No? Jalan Silang? Okay, if you don't know Jalan Silang, it's very hard for me to describe it, right? But I think I can explain to you. Okay, Jalan Silang, if in KL we have Chinatown, Jalan Silang is popular with what? Arab? Arab or Arab? Sorry. It's Arab. Jalan Silang is popular with Bangladesh. Okay? So I would say Jalan Silang is a small Bangladesh town. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, have you ever seen Bangladeshis holding hands together?
Yes.
Right? What is your perception? Awkward, right? Huh? Yeah, that's your view. Right? But for your information, for them is common to show their friendship. Any Malaysian here dare to hold your friend's hand? Going to eat them up? McDonald's come.
No.
Really, yeah? But please respect. As I said, there's nothing wrong. They are just holding hands. But for us, because we don't do that, doesn't mean that they are doing it wrong. So the keyword here is what? When we learn ethics, respect. Don't go straightly to their face, hey, you're gay. No, cannot. And then they will give you, right? What happened? I'm just holding my friend's hands. But, okay, it's your right to say yes or no, but if you don't like, better don't say anything. That's how I trigger this rights and wrong. Okay, for me to conclude, if you think something is right, may not be exactly what other people perceive it right as well. They think wrongly. Can you log that example as a good example?
Yes.
Okay. And ethics also will tell you about the rules of conduct. Okay. So because when you learn ethics, usually ethics is either written or unwritten. But even if it is unwritten, people can still know that the thing is right or wrong. Can you imagine if the thing is clearly written? Definitely is to be much clearer. Okay, another example. My son is now Form 4. His school has these 15 principles being posted almost everywhere in the school. Okay, anyone here from Spinta? No, right? I really like the way that the school is upholding the ethical values among the students. They have these 15 principles, and all these 15 principles are simple and catchy. Allow me to share the examples in Malay because all the principles are in Malay. Okay, among others, okay, kasut kami susun, only 3 words. Okay, cikgu kami hormat, cadar kami pegang. Simple. Okay. Students should arrange their shoes. Okay. Students should tidy their bed dan make their bed. Okay. And respect their teachers. With just 3 keywords. Okay. And all of those principles are written and posted. So there is no excuse for you not to do what are the right things that you're supposed to do. Okay? So being an ethical citizen, how do you know that we should do some ethical manners? Being a Malaysian, where at least should we refer to? Rukun negara. Right? Right? And Unirazak has any pledge? Once you join, lupa dah. Serve the? Oh, okay. You mean the motto, okay? Right. So can you see now? Ethics to start with is for us to uphold what everyone, okay, should be doing rightly and embrace. So the keyword in ethics is embrace. What is embrace? Appreciate. What is embrace? If I translate it in Malay, is meraikan. If meraikan is celebrate. No. Embrace is what? Embrace differences. Accept. What do you say just now?
Appreciate.
Appreciate, yes. Appreciate. Respect. Embrace is the combination of accept and respect and appreciate. So when you have these 3, you are actually talking about embracing. Okay, the next term is governance. What is governance? Anything that pops out in your mind when you see this term governance. Ever learned this governance before in any of your past subjects? Yes, what subject? Audit. Okay, what do you learn in audit about governance? Corporate governance. Okay, what do you learn in corporate governance?
Jawab tak? Jawab lah.
You talk about the audit. What again? It's okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, you actually trying to say all departments are following the same guidelines and standards. Okay? Yes. Governance, okay, usually is being in Malaysia or even in the entire world. Governance is usually being used in corporations, and that's where the term corporate governance is. Okay, again, excuse me, to ask your friends in Bahasa, do you know what corporate governance in Bahasa? What do we call corporate governance in Bahasa? No.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I can understand
You can
somewhere.
understand. Okay, it's a good knowledge. Okay, anyone? What do we call corporate governance in Bahasa? Takbir urus corporate. Very good. Not takbir, eh? Not takbir, takbir. TADBIR. Or another term being used by our PMX. Tata kelola.
Ha? Tata kelulut.
Tata kelola. Governance. But yeah, just for your own information only, okay? As long as you know what the governance is,
What?
it's about the management, how an entity is being governed. And I agree with you as what you said. For an entity, for you to run an entity or a corporation or like a small company, big company, medium company, whatnot, you have to have a proper guideline so that all of the parties, all of the people inside or even outside your company can follow. And that is why, unlike ethics, ethics may be written or unwritten, but still people can be an ethical people, right? An ethical person. But governance must be written. And if you found that okay, that this is something which is not written in the code of governance, and if you don't do, you're not wrong. You get what I mean? So to save you, in order to guide you to do things correctly, governance is definitely something that is written, so that there is no excuse for you to claim and blame. Oh, I don't know. If the thing is written, if the thing is not written and you can claim that you are innocent, that is fine. But governance, because it's about rule. Right and wrong, parents teach us good deeds, and it is not written, but we know it is right or wrong, right?
Yes.
But for governance, it describes rules, regulations. So rules and regulations are to be written. Okay? So Malaysian, you know what are the written rules for the traffic. Okay, so when you go overseas, you should expect some other kind of rules written there for you to follow. Okay? Okay, let me just share with. Okay, I think it's good for us to have a first round break. Okay, any question before we have a break? Good. Okay, go and have a quick break before we continue.